What's up, y'all? What's up, y'all? This is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Thank you for joining me today. Greatly appreciate it. If you could, please hit the like button, subscribe button, notification button to stay up to date with all of my future Teachable Tuesdays content. And today, I want to talk to you guys about the reasons why you may be single. Now, I recorded a video a while back. I want to say probably a little over a year ago, where I was talking about my journey of my singleness and how I was talking to one of my best friends and how he kind of, really just straight up told me that, hey, Marcus, you're single because of you. You know what I'm saying? And that was a harsh truth I did not want to accept at the time being, because I felt like I was just this gentleman who treated women with respect and dignity and someone who carried himself well in general as a man. But even people with the best qualities and characteristics have things that they need to work on as well. And not only that, but if you're noticing that there's a commonality between you and the people that you are trying to get to know and whatnot, and things are not working out, you kind of got to look deep inside and think to yourself, maybe I'm part of the problem. Not saying that you are the total problem, but you definitely might have a part to play. You got to do some soul searching to figure it out. That doesn't let people off the hook for those of you who've been done wrong. I'm not talking about situations where you've possibly been abused, manipulated, or things of that sort of nature. Obviously, that has its own category in its own right, and that's no fault of your own. But when it comes to relationships, dating, and so on and so forth, there's always something that we can do better more often than not, with the exception of the extreme cases. Obviously, extreme cases, I ain't talking about that, you know what I'm saying? But just in general. So I want to talk to you guys about some things, not just based on my own experiences, but based on, people I know, family and friends, and also just what I've noticed within my time of dating and some of the women I've dated, and, so on and so forth. So one of the reasons why you still may be single is because of your actions, because of how you carry yourself, right? We live in a society, as I always say this, that is a microwavable society. And because the society is microwavable, we want things when we want it, how we want it, however we can get it, as fast as possible. So therefore, one of the reasons why you're single is because you rush the process. Now, this one hits home with me because I recently had to learn to slow things down when it comes to dating. When it comes to dating, your vetting process has to be A1. It can't be A2, A3, A4, A5.5. No, it needs to be on point. And the reason being is because ultimately, the person that you end up with can have a very strong, positive, influential impact in your life, or it can lead you down a very dark road if you're not careful. And I've had to learn that personally the hard way plenty of times. So you got to understand that if you don't vet properly, you're going to rush into a situation that is going to leave you hurt at the end of the day. I was just talking to a friend of mine about this the other day, and I had to learn this because I was in a relationship earlier this year, and unfortunately things did not work out, and I have to take accountability for it, not because the ending of the relationship that was my fault, no, but it was because I didn't vet that individual properly. Had I did, I would have never gotten a relationship with them in the first place. So you have to make sure you vet, and in order to vet properly, you have to take your time. I don't care how much you like this man, I don't care how much you like this woman. At the end of the day, if you rush the process, it will end just as quickly as it began. And I can say that from personal experience plenty of times. I got stories for days, all right? So that's reason number one why you're probably still single. You don't vet properly. Reason number two why you're probably still single. You don't communicate well. Listen, communication goes a long way. I can't tell you how many situations I've been in, not even in dating, just in general, where I've talked to people and it was just simply a conversation that needed to be had. I mean, you're talking about family members, friends, past significant others, my students, colleagues, where it was just a situation where we had an open conversation about things and it cleared the air real quick. And we both left feeling better. Even if it was an uncomfortable conversation, which sometimes we need to have, it felt great to know, hey, we are in this situation. Let's talk about this and let's work it out. You know what I'm saying? But the thing of the matter is, sometimes you guys don't communicate very well. Now, your communication, you might just say your communication sucks in general, which some people feel that way. You might just have very low interest for the individual, and maybe you don't want to communicate because you're thinking they're going to get the point. Well, here's the thing. Nobody's a mind reader. You know what I'm saying? And nobody is going to put up with people that don't communicate properly, or at least people that are on a mission to better themselves. They're not going to put up with people that don't communicate well. I'm sorry. I know for somebody like me, I'm very busy. You know, I make music. I'm a content creator. I work 2 jobs. I'm in grad school. So because I have all these things on my list, I have a very busy life. So therefore, I'm not going to put up with people who can't communicate properly. You know what I'm saying? I understand we have busy lives, and I'm not saying you got to communicate every hour of the day, because I sure don't. But, you know, at least keep the person informed that you're interested in. Because if not, they're going to get turned off real quick. Now, you know, a lot of people, they talk about icks and whatnot, mainly women. If I could say one ick about me, it's the lack of communication. That's a real big ick for me. That's a quick way to turn me off. So you got to make sure you communicate properly, okay? Reason number 3 why you're probably still single. You complain too much, especially on social media. Now, I'm going to tell you why this special social media part in just a second. But you always complaining about the fact that you're single is not going to help your situation. Because when you're single, there's either 2 things you can do. Number 1, you can keep complaining and end up in the same place that you've always been. Or number 2, you can continue to improve physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, and get to a point where you become more desirable, okay? Listen, a part of being single is knowing how to work the market. And a part of you being able to work the market better in terms of dating is improving yourself. The more that you improve yourself, the better off you will be. And also improving yourself internally as well. It's not just about how good you look. It's not just about being mature emotionally. It's not just about being mature spiritually. It's also about, well, and mentally, of course. It's also about how are you becoming a better person on the inside? Are you learning from your past choices and past mistakes? Because I can say in the past 2 years, I've learned a lot from dating that has caused me to improve as an individual and allowed me to be more, what's what I'm looking for? More desirable in the market. You know what I'm saying? But that's only because I put the work in. So that's number 3 why you may be single, because you complain too much. And then let me talk about the social media aspect. You would be surprised about the fact that you can get, check for something. You would be surprised about the fact that there are people on social media that you could meet that could potentially be a good match for you. I always tell people it's better to meet people in person, but you just never know. But the thing about it is, if you're complaining, people are going to see that, and that's going to turn people off. You know what I'm saying? I can't tell you how many people, how many women in particular, I've probably turned off from complaining on social media in the past. So that's not a good thing. That's not something that you want to do. And I'm going to give you a bonus as to why you probably may be single. You don't take accountability for your actions. And I've talked about this numerous times, and I keep talking about it because it's very, very important. One thing that my brother PJ, shout out to PJ by the way, and like I said, I'm going to link the video below just so you guys can get more detail and see what he was talking about and what I was referring to in that situation. But one thing I had to realize in that moment when I was talking to PJ was I had to take accountability for me. You know, I thought to myself that just because I'm this guy who, you know, treats women with respect and this man who carries himself well, I thought that there was not too much wrong with me. Not saying I didn't have my issues, but I thought, okay, you know, I'm a pretty solid guy. And I still felt that like I was, you know, to this day I was a pretty solid guy. But there were things on my end that I had to think about and realize some very important factors. And a lot of that required me to take accountability for what I was doing versus what I was not doing. So that's a very important feat. And when you don't do that, you're going to remain stagnant. When you remain stagnant, you're not going to get what you want, okay? You got to understand, maybe I don't communicate properly. Maybe I rush the process a bit too much. Maybe I expect too much out of people. Maybe I expect out of people what or better yet, how I treat people. Maybe it's just a thing to where I have some internal issues to work through. Maybe I have a lot of things that I do that give people icks. You know what I'm saying? You got to really dive deep and have some internal reflection and figure out why are these men or these women not attracted to me, or why they're not staying with me over a long period of time. It might be something in you. And the sooner you address that, the better off you will be. Again, I'm not telling you anything that I haven't worked through myself and that I'm still currently working through. Because like I told you earlier with the process of a relationship I was in this year, I didn't vet properly. And that's on me. You know what I'm saying? I have to take accountability for that. That doesn't mean I'm letting that person off the hook, but that simply means I'm taking responsibility for my actions. All right? And I have even more reasons as to, why you're probably single, but I'm not going to go into it too much. I mean, if you guys want a part 2, comment below, let me know, and I'll definitely make a part 2, because there's a lot of reasons why you may be single. And of course, all these reasons that I named, or should I say most of them, I wouldn't say all of them, but most of them that I named, they've applied to me at one point or another. And I had to learn that, okay, Marcus, these are things that you need to work on. So I'm telling you things that I've worked on, so that way you could be a better you, and you could end up finding the person that you ultimately want. Because at the end of the day, if you truly desire somebody and you truly want to, have a companion, especially a lifetime companion, these are foundational blocks that you need to build on, so that way you can get what you desire. And more importantly, I'll give you a second bonus. You don't keep God in the center of your relationship. And that's a big one for me that I got to hold myself accountable for. There's not a thing that you can do without the man upstairs in order to be successful. That's just my personal belief. You might feel differently, but that's what I believe. And that includes romantic relationships. When you don't put God in the center, it will fall, it will fail every single time. All right, so want to leave you with that note. Again, this is Marcus Frazier from Teachable Tuesdays, here to motivate you, encourage you, and inspire you to be a better you. Again, thank you for joining me today. Greatly, greatly appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so that way you can stay up to date with all of my notifications. I'm posting a lot of shorts, just random videos to help keep you encouraged. The hip-hop series is going to be continuing very soon. I haven't forgotten about y'all. Don't worry for my hip-hop heads. Much love to you guys, and hope you guys take it easy. I'll see you next time.